Hi everyone! Hello!
Hello,
Hello!
everyone. Yes.
Welcome back to Iloilo Primagalaw Art Institute, or is that it? Iloilo Primagalaw Official. Iloilo Primagalaw Official. Hello, I'm Sir D.
Yes, and we are back here again. It's rated PG, where we talk about anything and everything.
Unfiltered and under the sun. And I'm Uzi.
All right.
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
okay. So, we I miss you. It has been so long that we were not able to have this, but I'm glad that we're back to each other's arms. Bow arms.
Each other's arm.
Tama. Kahit ano, sir, even though it's we are in different places around the world, right?
Yes,
Diba? We
yes,
are being
yes.
connected by this platform, and that is
Correct,
really exciting. Yeah.
correct. And of course, we are just fresh from post-election feeling.
Whatever
and,
feeling that is.
and the, and the, and the three of us were so drained because of the results. But anyway, and that could be the reason why the topic for this for today
Yes.
seemed a little close to what we feel right now, because we're
Mhm.
a little, not a little, but we are really very frustrated of the results.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Well,
Very
but
unfortunate and very saddening, frustrating, in fact. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So that will be our topic for today. How do we accept frustrations?
Yes.
Not
Ako nga.
not necessarily for the elections, but based from our own personal experiences also.
Mm.
The-
Okay.
Is frustration, sir, usually deeply rooted with failure? Is that how are we going to attack this conversation today?
Well, I believe so, because if you experience failure, there will naturally be frustration after. I mean, like, if there's failure, it will result into frustration.
Frustration.
Oh,
All
so
right.
how
Mhm.
do we accept that? How do we really embrace frustrations? So that should be the very thing to do, because all of us will always, whether we like it or not, will always experience ano failure.
Yes,
and and
exactly.
and with that, whether we like it or not, we will also experience always what, Uzi?
Frustration.
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 Ano, what is this? Fill in the blanks. Exam.
Tabulation.
Okay, okay, okay. So,
Graded recitation. Okay,
yes.
go.
So, what are actually the causes of your frustrations? Like Mon and Uzi. What
Um,
frustrates you?
For me, sir, probably it's the expectations that you set on a certain event. Like let's say for me, one of the biggest frustrations and because of failures that I've experienced recently was the year 2021 was really rough for me because as we all know, I took the NCLEX several times, and it was really frustrating every single time that I didn't make it. I the morning after I would always reflect on why didn't I make it? What did I do wrong? And luckily enough, I also switched my brain into what could I do that later we'll talk about that.
Mm,
But
mm.
yeah, for me it's the expectations that you set, or the pressure probably that you set for yourself or for a certain event that makes you frustrated because you didn't reach your goal, or you didn't reach that certain expectations.
Meaning then, the expectations that you have set that are not met.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And for me, sir, it is actually the same way. Setting, like, of course, whenever I put myself into a certain endeavor, I make goals, I establish goals. And whenever those goals are not met, automatically, despite the efforts, despite the the heart that you have given into the endeavor, definitely it causes frustration. And uh th- that is immediately for me will cause a ripple effect of emotions.
Mm.
So you will be sad, you will be depressed, you will be angry. So yeah. So whenever a goal is not met, despite the effort that is being poured into it, makes me frustrated.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, so we will dwell on what do we do in situations like we are frustrated or when we are frustrated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Okay.
we do, sir.
So in your case, Uzi, what do you do then when you're frustrated?
um, I know. I don't know. I mean, look at me. I eat. in times of joy and
Cope
in
with.
times of depression, I eat. No, but I
Okay.
think another healthy coping would be take a break and you don't never blame yourself for not reaching that goal. Instead of channeling for me, instead for channeling that emotion of self pity and self doubt and blaming, I channel it into what can I do next.
Mm,
What step can I do to correct those steps that I took that led me to this frustration. So immediately I come up with new goals, to move myself because I really don't want to dwell on negativity. I really don't want to dwell on self blaming, self doubt, and self pity. That's very toxic for me.
mm,
So I really shift my perspective into moving on and thinking, okay, I should,
Moving.
like, when I failed my NCLEX, I should study more. I
mm.
should I should be more systematic. I should take lesser breaks. I should exercise more, to help out with everything. And then, it works eventually. And pray more. So
Yeah.
that's how I do it.
Amen.
Yeah, meaning you transform frustration into something that is really very positive or something that
Yes.
is
Mhm.
into positive energy.
Yes, because
Aside,
I
Yeah.
don't see the point of dwelling into
mm, mm,
negativity.
mm,
Instead of using that energy of like moping around and laying in bed and crying and listening to, although it's cathartic, listening to
yeah.
music and then going out. Sure, I mean, why not? You have to embrace your emotions for
Mm,
a while for you to absorb
mm,
the consequences of that event, of that failure, and then try to learn from it, and then from there you will find the answers to move on, I guess.
mm. I think, yeah, I I believe the very first thing that we normally do is really embracing our emotions,
Mhm,
right? Like
Yeah.
mhm,
as what Ramon said, we might be angry, we might be sad, we might be depressed. So we then have to acknowledge that, okay? And then after
Mhm.
acknowledging that, I believe the second step is really getting into the practice of healthy coping skills. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah.
What about you, Mon? What are your coping skills? Like, di ba, there are
Um.
so many coping mechanisms.
Yeah. But for me, sir, I have mentioned earlier that what what makes me frustrated is whenever I could not reach my goal. So
Mm,
what I am trying to manage that, or to manage that frustration by firstly um managing my goal, or making goals that are tangible, making goals that are realistic.
mm,
Because if from the very beginning I know that this is my goal, this is something that is attainable, that I
mm,
can reach, then whenever whatever the outcome, may it be successful or failure, then less you will be less frustrated, or you will be less upset, because you tried to set a goal that is realistic to you.
mm,
So that is first thing. As for your question, how to healthy coping skills, Uzi enumerated a lot, and one of them is really exercise. I think I've mentioned that in the previous podcast that we have, that actually exercise allows you to release happy hormones,
mm,
which actually keeps you going. regardless regardless the results of an endeavor that is not favorable to you, it keeps you going. And we have to remind our prime movers, our listeners and viewers, that actually failure is really part of everything, and
Yeah.
that to be frustrated is really part of everything. So um uh, it is part of success, and you need that feeling of failure and frustration in order for you to move forward and to strive for more,
Mm.
right?
Correct, correct, correct. Uh, at some point also, I mean, in our journey in facing frustrations, we also need at times to acknowledge also some like irrational beliefs about failures. At some
Mm-mm.
point we believe, like personally at some point I always believe that I will not be able to experience failure. Okay. Yes, because I would always see myself getting and experiencing success like most of the
You are a
time.
perfectionist, sir.
Mm.
I don't know if I am, but
Or
So
you always strive for excellence, and actually that
yes,
that,
yeah.
that is where for me personally, I do not know with Uzi. I we look up to you, that
Mm.
that we somehow always strive for excellence in everything we do. I remember telling us never settle for less. So that's
I
why.
was gonna
Anyway.
say that. I was gonna say that's one of
yes,
my.
yes, yes, yes,
It's part of the Iloilo Primagalaw training. You
Yeah.
never ever settle for less.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's what
Yes,
Sir D taught us.
yes, we should always be the best, di ba? We should always
Mm.
have to get something that we want. So maybe
Google
like
Fi, a phone plan by Google. Get
what
simply
is
unlimited.
what is that, Rabo?
Sorry.
I thought you changed your voice already.
I am
Really?
trying to play a background music or whatnot, but okay, carry on, sir. I
Okay,
apologize.
okay, okay. So maybe in my own experience, I always make it sure that things will be well. Okay, for me to have less mistakes, so that there will be no frustration in the process. You know what I mean? Like in preparing for shows, in preparing for like programs or activities, you have to make it sure that every step of the way are correct, and you're doing it well, so that towards the end there will be no failure. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So
Mm. And you anticipate, sir, these
yes,
failures, or yeah, you forecast, and you foresee what will happen to if what will I do if this
mm,
happens, something like that,
yes,
right?
yes. So at least before that happens, you can already check on it, and you could already like make some moves in order
Yes.
not to let it happen.
Yes. And
Foreseeable
that's what.
price.
Yes, perceive. That's why like going to where what we do back in Iloilo Primagalaw days, we have critics night, we
Mm,
Mm.
have technical rehearsals or tech runs, so that we get to practice or rehearse how to change costume, how
mm,
to shift or to exchange microphones, so
mm,
that
Mm.
if this for example happens,
mm.
we will be able to remedy it before it actually happens in the actual show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that in the end there will be no regrets, right? Because you did
Right.
your
Right.
best and you have done really your best in that
Yeah.
specific situation.
Sir, it's failure or failures or frustrations are inevitable. I mean,
Mm,
even on stage production. So I guess my question is, although you've taught us to be never settle for less, be the best, and expect always for the worst. So
mm.
what happens when the worst happens? How do you cope up with that?
Well, that did not happen at all, Uzi.
Ah, yeah.
Well,
In
let me think
certain
about it,
situations,
sir.
I mean,
Yes,
there may
like
be small nuances. I mean,
I
so
mean
so
like
how do you deal with that?
I mean like like for shows or something like preparations
Yeah,
for
I
like
mean,
for
probably
Prima Galao.
yeah, like
For-
somebody
for-
fainted, or a prop didn't work, or the music didn't play on cue. Like, how do
I
you?
I think the artists were trained also if in case like this
That's right.
happened, like there was like visualization that if this thing happened, what will you do then? So there's already like a background check, like there's already like even that we've practiced. So if that happened, an artist or an actor may be able to really know what to do.
Adjust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then the rest of the actors as well, being in that position and being in that situation, may be able to adjust as well because they already know what's gonna happen.
Oh.
And not to and modesty aside, I think Uzi, we were trained to be smart actors or smart
Yes,
performers.
yes,
That
yes, yes.
whenever happens, like what you mentioned, those nuances, like somebody fell from the stage,
Mhm.
or a prop
Mm,
collapsed.
mm.
So
Mhm.
you are able to go around it and make things work, make things happen,
Right.
right?
Like,
Oo, oo.
quick wit, I guess. I mean, be always on your feet, and then
Mm,
because anything could happen at a single moment, and you never lose character, or you never lose sight of what you're doing, maybe theater or dance.
mm.
So I mean, the show must go on,
Yeah,
basically. So
yeah.
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 But I think Uz, we're talking about one side only of
Hmm.
of what we do. But then personally, there's a lot really of frustrations. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
I am perfect. I'm not saying that I'm perfect.
Hmm.
I mean like with relationships,
Yeah.
Hmm.
with school. But since we're talking about Prima Galaw, everything then is programmed, right?
Hmm.
Correct.
So
Correct.
there was less frustration on our part. But then on the other side of the story, like personally, in engaging relationships with other people,
Hmm.
with school activities, like being a student, being, I mean, like as a person, there's really a lot of frustrations. We really have or problems that we experience almost every day.
And for me, sir, to piggyback on that, you are saying that it is not only focused on Primagalaw. As a Primagalaw artist, having that particular training, I also was able to apply that in my
Mm,
daily dealings
mm,
with people and with my job, where I am able to anticipate um, uh, the outcome of a certain decision,
mm,
for
mm, mm.
example,
Correct, correct.
of a certain situation, that I am able to prepare myself on how to conduct myself if in case this happens. So I think even though we are talking about how we program
Mm,
um, stuff, or how we program ourselves while we are in theater, I think we can somehow apply that
yeah.
in real life, where we also program.
Mm,
Like I think we talked about at some point about visualization. So you actually visualize what is going to happen if you take plan A. What
mm.
is going to happen if you take plan B? So whatever the results of those choices, you are able to react on it and respond to it correctly, and thus again going back, lessen your frustration.
Correct,
Hmm.
correct. And I believe as obsessive compulsive as I am, I would I it's really automatic that I get to program what's gonna happen on the next day. You know what I mean? If in case like I have an activity, if I'm going to attend to a meeting, if I have class, I already have that visualization of what's gonna happen. So psychologically and physically I'm prepared already. I'm prepared
Hmm.
already, so that of whatever the things that will happen, I am ready to face it. Okay, so that is
Yeah.
why if in case like there are negative things that's gonna happen, I am ready for it. So there's actually less frustrations because I am ready to face that certain consequence. I believe frustration may come if in case like you are not ready for some things to happen.
Agree.
Okay,
Mm.
I don't know if I am correct, but that's what I really do personally. I don't know with
Okay.
you.
I do agree, sir. I do agree. Uzi.
Yes. 100%.
Mic, so mic drop, sir, mic drop. There was silence.
Okay, so meaning I each of us, if in case like there are frustrations, we just need to accept an appropriate level of responsibility. You know,
Mm.
Yeah.
that responsibility then will not lead into blaming yourself. You do not blame yourself. Do not be too harsh really for yourself. There are things that we need to accept. There are things that we need to let go. Right?
Mm.
Yeah. So that then it will not really give you so much stress in really dealing with that frustration, because the more you think about it, the more you become so negative about it, the more frustrated you become, and the more sad you become, and it might lead into real depression then in the process.
Yes.
So what do you mean, sir, by saying accepting responsibilities? Like how do you process that?
I mean, you have to respect that there are really things that are beyond your control.
Your control.
Yeah. So since it's really beyond your control, you have to think about it, that since it's beyond your control, you cannot do anything about it. Okay. Although it has given you then a certain frustration, a certain level of frustration, but then like
Mhm.
looking into it, that it's beyond your control, that will give you then like a little breather that will not really lead you to too much of frustration, or
Yes.
that may lead really into depression. So I mean, like
Yeah.
there's really just need to have acceptance.
Right.
My take here, sir, is responsibility is defined as ownership of
Hmm.
anything you commit into,
Yeah.
and part of it is not only taking responsibility of the consequences
Hmm.
of a certain situation, but also taking responsibility of your reaction or your emotion
That's
towards
right.
the.
Hmm.
That's
So
right.
it is your responsibility to choose how to react on the situation. So if you view that scenario as negative, then it is your responsibility
Hmm.
to be depressed,
Hmm.
to be sad, to mourn. But also, if you view that in a different way, like in a positive way,
Yeah.
then it is also your, so you are responsible. In short, you are responsible for your emotion as well as
Correct.
how you are going to react on the situation given or at hand.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
I choose not to, as I'm like backing earlier to what I said. I choose not to. I think I'm responsible enough not to to dwell on the
Hmm.
negative side of failing. I mean, yeah, for sure, give yourself maybe a day or two to be depressed and
Hmm.
sad and cry about it and listen to sad songs, watch sad movies. Let it out of your system. You'll get tired
Right.
eventually, and then you start
Healed.
on moving on and thinking of ways to think on how to redeem yourself kumbaga
Yeah.
from the failure that you've experienced. A little anecdote, the time that I didn't finish at St. Paul, I mean, admittedly. So uh that really bummed me out, like for the longest time, because see, that was a big hit on on my, speaking of failures and frustration. So the only way I think to that I redeemed myself, like I have to pass the board exam. I mean, that for me was the redeeming of all, a redeeming factor of everything. So that really motivated me to finish my studies and come back with not really a vengeance, but come back with something else. I made it. Even though I didn't finish from this school, but I'm still what I am right now. But so
And it doesn't make you less of a person or a nurse, Uzi. I
yeah,
mean, it is still the same. I mean, it may not be the original plan, but for
mhm,
sure, God has paved a way for something better for you. And well, you have said it very well that um, uh, since you were diverted into a different path,
mhm,
it actually motivated you more, right? So
mhm,
it is just like in any problem in life. I mean, it it is not always the plan that you made originally,
Yeah.
you will really be diverted into somebody somewhere else, but
Right.
it will still give you the same result, but it
Yeah.
may just take a longer
Right.
path for
Yeah.
you, right?
I
Makes
remember what
sense.
Catriona Gray says. Like in reaching your dreams, remember, just always remember you're not being denied, only being diverted.
Yeah, exactly. That is
Correct,
the
Just
correct,
thought.
remember what she
correct,
said.
correct,
Yes.
correct. Yes, di ba? Meaning there are really things that we wish to have, but at times it's not given because it will be given in another time, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So we just
There's a
need,
time and place.
yes, we
Mhm.
just need to be very patient in everything. Okay. So in all this, then what do we wish to tell our prime movers about really embracing frustrations or embracing failure? I'm confused with the two terms.
Don't I think my takeaway on this talk is, I mean, failures is a part of life, and you shouldn't be fearful of it. You shouldn't be anticipating for it either. I mean, but we have to brace yourself for when it comes, because from those darkest moments, the sun would always shine at the end of the day. So, not always, kumbaga, you know what they say, gulong ng palad. You're not always at the
On
bottom.
top.
Pretty
Or
soon
yeah.
you will be at the top. So it's just a cycle, and don't fret, because you know what, the answers that you're looking for from your failures are just right there from your failures itself. So you just have to embrace it, and then to reflect on how to move on, and don't worry, because you're not alone. There are people around you, your family and friends are always there to help you out. All you have to do is ask. So there you go.
Mhm.
What about you, Mon? Thank you, Uz.
Maybe two things, sir, and I will borrow some thoughts from Mark Manson, one of the authors that I have read initially. Number one, we are not special. Saying that it means that uh, saying that then we are not special, it means that we are actually bound to fail at some point in our lives. We should not be fully self-entitled that I am special. I should not fail at all cost, because definitely you will fail. So that is one thing that we have to accept, that failure at some point in our lives, we will hit the ground hard. Number two, Mark Manson said, improvement at anything is based on thousands of tiny failures. The magnitude of somebody's success or your success is based on how many times you failed. And I will add how many times you get up from that failure. So, like for example, he mentioned that a child learning to walk definitely fell several times, but that child did not give up, saying that, well, I will not walk because walking is not for me. The child actually persisted to walk nevertheless. So failure is not an endpoint. It
Mhm.
should be a beginning of something.
Correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct, correct. Like personally, like for me, if in case like I would experience failure, I would always look into the brighter side of that thing, of the thing that I have learned. No? So I basically tell myself, what did I learn from that mistake, from that failure, and then after that specific learning, I have to make it sure that I will not repeat the same mistake, and for me not to be able to experience the same failure again and again. Okay, so it's just like what Ramon said, that it's really just standing up after standing and up together, standing na apa, standing standing after
That
every
is emphasis, sir.
yes.
Giving emphasis. Yeah.
I mean, like standing after every fall, right? So we just
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to stand every time, there would always be a sun after the rainbow. Is that correct, Uzi? Rainbow
There's a
after the
rainbow
sun.
after the rain.
Yeah.
Sunshine after the rain. There's a
Sunshine after the
sunshine
rain.
after the rain.
meaning there would always be hope. There would always be hope
Yeah.
amidst failures, amidst frustrations. Okay.
Alright.
So I think that's all. Would you like to say more, Ramon or Uzi?
I would like to thank our partners at StageStore.com. Oh, di ba? I printed it off now.
Wow,
Wow.
better now,
Elevate.
better.
Thank you so much for my shirt. Proud Ilonggo. Thank you
Is
so
that a
much.
new shirt? Is that new shirt,
Wow.
Uzi?
Huh?
Did that come from Astig again?
Yeah, I bought
Yes.
it.
Wow. I think we can wear that too sooner.
Yeah. Doon naman.
Yes,
Thank you
yes,
so
and
much.
thank you very much, Prime Movers, for taking time to watch our podcast today, and we hope, of course, that you learned something. So, if you are not yet a subscriber, please do subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification button so that every time we upload something new, you will be updated.
Correct. Yes. So again, I think that's all we say.
Thank you.
Bye. And thank you,
Bye.
Prime
Bye.
Movers. Bye-bye. See you. Bye.